Kia ora and welcome to Cinema in Context, where we discuss all things film and the connections between. My name is Jeremy Downing.
I'm Sarah Watt.
And I'm William Chen.
And each month at Cinema in Context, we discuss two films, one current and one retrospective with some connection. It could be the same director, the same actor, a similar theme, or sometimes the same title. Same source text, same ideas.
Same main character.
Different generation. This month we are discussing The Running Man, which came out in 1987, and The Running Man, which came out in 2025. I think I've just told you what the connections are. I don't need to go over it again. And we will discuss those connections in great amounts of detail. I do want to warn you all, as we do, there will be spoilers for both films. So if you haven't seen The Running Man or The Running Man, please pause this episode and return to it at a future date. Mm-hmm. All right, Sarah, give us a bit of an overview of 1987's The Running Man.
Right, The Running Man came out at a time when I was old enough to watch it, and you guys probably weren't even twinkles in your parents' eye.
We were both
we were both existing.
Yes.
Okay, so post Mr. Universe, but pre-US Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger stars in The Running Man of 1987. Now, I should just mention, because it will be relevant to everything we discussed today, Stephen King, under his pseudonym Richard Bachman, had written a novel in 1982. And so the 1987 Running Man sort of took this novel and ran with it, some might say, but ran in a slightly different direction. The film is set in the future of 2017, in a dystopic world in America where life is very, very grim. Reality TV is a massive thing. Reality TV and vicious game shows. And our hero, played by Schwarzenegger, am I going to say it properly the whole... I think I'm just going to say it differently the whole episode.
Nice.
Schwarzenegger plays a chap, a cop called Ben Richards, who refuses to shoot on an unarmed crowd and is then set up by the state and forced to participate in a televised game show called The Running Man, in which he has to run for his life, fight off stalkers, about whom we'll get to much more discussion, in order to, I don't know if he... yes, so the public believe that he is playing to win and therefore go and live on a tropical island, but the reality is that Ben Richards is simply playing for his life.
Nice. Well, I made a joke about these movies being the same, but they're actually quite different. And as you allude to, that film takes a different direction from the book, which brings us to 2025's The Running Man. William, give us a bit of an overview of this, I say slightly different, maybe return to form version of this film.
Definitely returning to the source text, as you say, Jeremy. So The Running Man 2025 is based a lot more on the original Richard Bachman novel, which on its cover, when I saw this, I thought, oh my goodness. The cover of The Running Man by Stephen King, Richard Bachman, says, "Welcome to America in 2025, when the best men don't run for president. They run for their lives." Which is prescient in many ways.
Prescient, it is unbelievable. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so this film is, directed by Edgar Wright, the great Edgar Wright, who has been talking about this for years. I think he wanted to make Running Man kind of after Scott Pilgrim. This has been a passion project for him. And really, it tells a story that skews much more closer to the original Stephen King story, where Ben Richards is not a gung-ho military police officer. He is just a normal dude. He has a normal job in the slums, and he enters the game show in order to get money for his ailing family, specifically his daughter, who is suffering from some sort of disease. And then, of course, stuff goes down.
Yeah.
And it's clear to me, as a Stephen King fan, the blueprint of a Stephen King story is felt much more strongly in that the recent film.
Yeah.
Especially with the lead character. He's sort of this angry family man.
Yeah.
It's sort of a classic Stephen King story. And, of course, going back to Maine by the end of the film. Right? Yeah. Well, listeners, we had something that is always exciting and quite unique, which is the three of us got to watch the new Running Man together. Sarah, with her wonderful connections into the sort of preview screening world, got us 3 tickets to see it. I think it was the week before it opened, or the week of, or something like that.
I think it was the Monday, and then it opened on the Thursday.
Yeah, right. So we saw it at the VMAX Cinema in Newmarket, and we had a lovely night. We went out for dinner.
Yeah.
And then we
wonderful.
went to watch the film. And we pulled some couches together in the cinema. Everyone was sort of leaving, and we had a conversation about our initial thoughts. Should we listen to that?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I haven't listened to it since we recorded.
Neither.
So we'll see.
I wonder if I'm going to contradict myself.
we will see. Nice. Well, what do we think, team? First reactions to Running Man 2025.
Edgar Wright's Running Man.
Yeah, I don't feel it was very Edgar Wrighty at all, personally. There wasn't the editing that I would have liked. Do you know what? I feel quite down on this film. And so I'm just going to leap in there with inconsequential supporting cast, wrong cast, incoherent editing, lackluster story. There you go.
Wow, hitting all the beats.
Yeah, I mean, it started better. It started with promise, and then it didn't work for me. What did you guys think?
I feel like Sarah and I went and saw Begonia the other day, and I turned to her at the end and I said, I hated that.
And I loved it.
And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was
Yeah.
not your fault.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think of that, though?
I agree that it was very restrained for Edgar Wright. I don't think I've seen a movie that's not distinctively Edgar Wright in a way that this movie
This didn't feel like
isn't.
anybody,
didn't.
did it?
No,
Yeah, that's
no.
right. It had no signature.
Apart from maybe the music choices,
Yes.
like it was very, very snappy.
Yeah.
But you're right, Sarah. The editing felt different in a way. Maybe he's just trying something new as a filmmaker.
To me, the story was incoherently edited. That was the issue. It was like, hang on, why are we here? You know?
I was really enjoying the film up until the young woman in the car.
Yeah.
And then she was really obviously stating her politics.
Yeah.
It was very on the nose, the dialogue.
Yep.
The actual plot became incomprehensible. Like,
Yep.
I wasn't really clear
Yep.
how and why he went through the blockade and how he knew. And then the whole bluff with the bag.
I just don't get any of it.
It all just fell apart for
Yeah,
me at the
yeah.
end. But I was having a good time up until that point.
Yeah.
I was having a really good time, actually. I thought, again, we'll talk about this with the original Arnold Running Man, but that movie also is just inconsequential. There's so many things that don't go anywhere. And to me, everything leading up to the car hijacking was... there was more coherence to it.
There was, and
Yeah.
it had purpose. It had drive, if you will. But then a whole bunch of stuff happened. It was a bit like,
It was like they had a whole bunch of ideas and just put them all in the film.
That's what I thought towards the end.
Yeah.
And I also, but do you know what? I'm not normally so down on a whole cast, but honestly, I don't give two hoots about anyone in this film. And there are some notable cameos who are written out too soon. And then there's just a bunch of no marks. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, I think the dialogue has a lot to say for that.
Yep.
That moment at the end where he's making the big speech that's happening during the commercial break.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, this is very preachy. And
Yep.
what I like about the original Running Man is that there's a satire, but it's having so much fun. And it's not actually trying to tell us what to think.
No.
This movie,
But then that
there was
was
a
the
line,
80s.
But there was
And we
there
weren't
was a
as
line.
enlightened in the 80s, you know.
There was a line in this film where it was like, oh, people trying to connect when they should just be entertaining. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, movie, you should listen to your own advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say that I found the older film just way more fun.
Yeah.
A lot more fun than this
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
This one was ostensibly more fun in terms of the way they were playing with the pieces, but less fun in terms of tone.
Yeah.
I found this one to be pretty fun in the way that we understand what a reality TV show is
Yes.
like in our world.
That's true. There was a lot of,
Yeah, and to see kind of it extrapolated to a death game where things, are just believable enough to make you think, okay, so this could happen, and probably in a similar fashion. I thought that was pretty fun. And
But I don't feel that this exploited the Hunger Gamesy element of its setup. You know, the fact that civilians were tasked with bringing him down, and I didn't sleep through this film. I was awake through the whole thing, but I've left just feeling like, like there were not big moments of consequence, and
What I will say is, I do like when I watched. I told you guys before with the screening that I watched last night in Soho, in preparation for this chat, and I felt that the strength of that movie is that Edgar Wright was not resting on his laurels in terms of the Edgar Wright gimmicks. So I didn't mind the fact that it didn't feel like an Edgar Wright film.
But it was a better story in a way, wasn't it?
It was a better
It was a
story.
better film, better performances.
Well, I think this one just fell apart. Like,
Yeah.
it was good. It was a good setup. And from what I understand, the Stephen King story ends with him flying the plane into the building.
Oh, right.
So they were playing with the
Okay.
Stephen King, and I think the family do die.
yeah.
Right.
So they were playing with the original story's pieces and then repositioning them with this really strange ending where he manages to get into the studio
Yeah.
and
I mean, not to play movie doctor or anything, but I think that would be a stronger ending when they revealed that the family dies. I mean, it's a little bit.
But I didn't believe the
gimmicky, a
family
little bit
was dead.
cliche,
I
but
didn't believe it.
If they were dead, then that would actually drive, the finale of the movie. And in this, it does, and then they have the cake and eat it too, and it feels a little bit pulling punches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about this more when we meet, and I've had another viewing of original Running Man, because
Yeah.
more will come out of more will come out of this film by dint of watching that old one again. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, cool.
So,
Well,
see you then.
For us, it's going to be a week and a half.
Yeah,
and for
that's
you
right.
listeners, it's right now.
So, no or am I.
So, what do we think, team, a week and a half later? Any differences of thoughts? Any doubling down of opinions?
I'll say this to start with. I don't think Running Man 2025, I still don't think it's a good movie, but I've been thinking about this movie, and I don't think about a lot of movies like this. Usually you watch something and it's like, oh, yep, it's gone. But I'll say this, guys. A couple of days ago, there was the big, Powerball extravaganza, right? That weekend.
The lotto.
The lotto
Yeah.
Powerball.
$55 million.
Yeah,
Yeah,
has to be one.
Yeah.
And we were at Royal Oak, the mall at the Pack and Save, and walking by, and the queues to that thing, like a lot of people not looking very happy, looking pretty depressed and a little bit low, lining up for this chance of financial glory. And I was like, this is what I saw a couple of days ago in The Running Man.
Yes,
Yeah.
true.
Like, I think, here's the thing. I was very, very disappointed with The Running Man.
Yeah.
I think my initial reactions are what I feel right now. I love Edgar Wright as a director. I've loved or liked everything he's done from Spaced onwards. And we've talked about, Last Night in Soho. I know some people really did not like that one, but I thought it has so much going for it. Like,
Yeah.
it's good stuff. And then this was like, oh, Edgar Wright, like this is your passion project. What happened? But then at the same time, like there's stuff in the movie which it relates to our present enough for it to have made an impact on me the last week. So I'll give it that.
But you see, I mean, and not but. And William, you are a thoughtful, reflective, intelligent person. You had to do that for yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I do not feel. I mean, I totally hear you. The film hints at absolutely all these things. But because it was so badly executed,
Slapdash.
it was just a misstep. And I don't want to like slam dear old Edgar, because like you, I respect him so much and I love his work. It just didn't feel at all like him. One has to wonder whether a heavy-handed producer or studio or somebody got involved. We don't know that. I'm trying to, give him a get out of jail free card, so to speak. But apart from going, oh yeah, that's prescient, which I think we can really lay at the feet of Richard Bachman. And incidentally, as you say, the new film is set in 2025, so it's got a very sort of on-the-nose resonance to it. No. There are loads of films lately. There are loads.
Yeah.
We've had Civil War.
One battle after another.
One battle after another. We've had lots of films lately that really feel as though whenever they were created, written, thought up, whatever, that they really relate to now. And no, I think the elements that make up a film to get the message across were mishandled in this one. And I said, rather brutally, it's peopled by a bunch of no-marks. Now, look, I think Coleman Domingo is marvellous.
Yeah, he rules.
And I have to say, I think in the old film, Richard Dawson's Damon Killian, is superb. Like, incomparable.
Love that casting, by the way.
Fabulous.
Like the kindly host of Family Feud.
Exactly.
And he's your villain? And correct me if I'm wrong, but this was like one of his only acting roles.
And
right?
and absolutely brilliant. And it's
Killing it.
clever and all that stuff. Now, Coleman Domingo is a very on-the-nose kind of like slimy baddie in this, but he's blimmin' marvellous. But one gets the sense that ain't nobody directing him. Coleman's doing his own thing. And that's Coleman knowing how to be and to raise his arms in a particular way and to just have this charisma, and he's outstanding. Other than that, couldn't be more disappointed in Glenn Hitman Powell. Seriously, I thought Hitman was marvellous.
Hitman rules.
I thought he had comic chops. I thought he knew how to play a bunch of different characters. I thought he felt, I'm not that personally, I'm not that bothered about him in Maverick, but he did what it said on the tin. I'm not that enamoured of him in Anyone But You, which is the Much Ado About Nothing-esque kind of Sydney Sweeney film. I do not find him good looking or a heartthrob. Okay, I did quite like when he abseiled down the hotel in a
You
towel.
turned to me, you're like, well, this is unnecessary.
Okay, so there was the abseiling in a towel part. But other than that, didn't do it for me at all. So that's what I mean. I thought the editing was slapdash, incoherent. It was boring. I didn't fall asleep, but it was a bit... didn't know.
I still feel the same with the comments that I made. I genuinely was enjoying the film for the most part up until the introduction of the young woman in the car. And she was great. She was a great actor. I think we all agreed she was quite a good performer. And it felt very Stephen King. Like, it's very much the way he writes, and kind of things will happen and characters will become a part of the story. But that's sort of a Commando-esque quality, isn't it? With
Nice.
what's the name of the air hostess? Cindy? Is it Cindy in Commando?
In Commando.
Yeah,
and
she kind of gets dragged into the story, but
Dong Rui Chong,
right in the start, and she's wonderful. Whereas this felt like too late to pull that gimmick, and she becomes a very key part of the story.
Yeah,
and it's like, we don't even know who you are.
Yeah,
and she does a great job with it, but that's the point where the film fell apart for me. And I felt the satire was so much better and enjoyable and far more prescient, I guess, than in the old one.
Yes,
the old one did a much better job. It was a bit more pushed beyond the realms of reality. It was making commentary about things that hadn't yet come to pass, but it would.
That's
like
true.
AI turning on lights.
Yes.
And the way that reality TV is being used.
The CGI on the face.
Yes, that's right.
Amazing.
Deep faking back in 1987.
Amazing.
Yeah, all of that stuff is what we see now. So I just think that the old film was way more fun.
And way cleverer.
Way more affecting. But I will say, William, I do agree with you. I thought about this movie afterwards in a way that there's something there that I need to kind of come back to. So it wasn't, it wasn't wholly bad, but it wasn't great either.
I think my disappointment is more that it was a squandering. It was a missed opportunity by people who typically and technically know what they're doing and produce good stuff. So I think that, and I was really hyped for it. I thought the trailer was fab. I was super excited. And it did not come up to par. And I think that's probably what's at the heart of this, rather than it's just being some remake about which I don't care very much. And, Yeah.
To be honest, I think the trailer is edited a lot better than the film itself. And really, I have not read the novel, but apparently this newer movie skews very, very close to it. So all the plot beats of the woman in the car and the plane and everything, hiding the person pretending it's C4, like all of that is directly from the book. So maybe it is an issue with the source material more so than the adaptation, possibly.
Or maybe it's the comparison thing, because it's fundamentally over the top and absurd. And in the old one, which at the time we didn't really know, when I was 15 or however old I was, maybe younger than that, when at the time watching it we didn't really know quite how ridiculous it was. All we were watching for I mean, look, let's be honest. It's such an 80s movie. It's set in 2017, but they're all wearing lycra leotards and big hair. So it ain't 2017 at all, but it felt absolutely of the time when we were watching it. And really, it was just about the guy with the guy with the machine. What's it called? The chainsaw.
Yes.
And it was about
Buzzsaw.
and it was about the guy with the electric bolts of electricity coming out of his hands.
Dynamo.
And I didn't at the time realise that Maria Conchita Alonso was a dreadful actress quite so much. Do you know what I mean? Which again is that Commando and Total Recall thing of let's drag this woman into it, and suddenly she becomes a part of the thing, and they get to smooch at the end.
Yeah, well, she treats her kind of horribly through the whole film. But I loved
She
all
did
of those.
betray him, Jeremy.
I suppose.
They
but-
could have been in Hawaii.
If she hadn't mucked it up.
I love that old one. I had such a good time, and I
Yes.
love is it the Stalkers? Is that what they're
Yeah.
called?
They are called stalkers.
It's
yeah.
the film is so camp.
Yeah.
And Paula Abdul's choreography is
Yeah.
amazing. There's a nod to that in the new film.
Yeah, and it just never ends.
It never is.
so good.
It's exactly. It's not even just a camera panning over to go, and we have dancers. It's like we're going to give you a whole scene
Yeah.
of a dance routine.
I literally was watching this going, this movie's so gay.
Yeah.
And then especially with, I think Arnold is, he's a bit slimmer in this one, isn't he? He's not
Yeah.
as bulked up. And I remember reading there was some reason for that, like whether he was recovering from something, or I can't remember, but...
Okay.
And he's got a very handsome, nice face. I never fancied Arnold, but he's very smooth and quite
Yeah.
handsome in this.
He
in
looks
the old
like
one.
he could actually run in the Running
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Usually,
He reminded me of his son, because of course he was in...
Patrick.
in White Lotus this year.
That's right.
So yeah, I had a great time in this original film, and I watched it quite a while ago. Like I had to make notes on my phone because I knew that we weren't recording for another month or so. So I saw it weeks before we watched the new one, but it was wonderful. It's such an easy watch.
It is. It's a slice of fried cheese.
Ooh.
Like it is not a good movie by any means of the word. But there's something about these late 80s action movies. It's just, oh my gosh, they used to make movies like this. Why don't we still make movies like this?
Yeah.
Because of Super Mario film in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
We go.
it killed it.
Everything feels at the same time extremely grungy, just like Super Mario, but also the campest camp you've ever camped. Like those leotards. Why?
Yeah.
And also the chute. Why is there a chute that
Yes.
shoots them down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for a very, very long time underground
Yeah.
to some sort of like game zone hellscape.
Yeah.
You know.
And
yeah.
I did enjoy that they kind of kept an element of that in the new film, and then it instantly just stops because they're like, "Well, this idea's not going anywhere."
And yet, you see, that's what you see. When I watched the trailer, I thought, oh, how thrilling that they're actually going to use people's obsession with filming things on phones and dobbing him in. I thought that was going to be a really exciting part of it. I do think it's interesting, although my jury is out on whether it's good policing, to in the second film where he can watch on television where these stalkers are right outside his door, gives him a little bit of a head start. I thought, well, that's not really smart, is it? If you're broadcasting this and he can see what's going on because it's on the telly, not in an auditorium, then I think that's not very clever.
And that's the only thing.
That's the only problem.
I mean, with the phones, I'm right there with you,
Yeah.
Sarah. There's an episode of Black Mirror called Black Bear. I think it's called Black Bear, the one where a woman wakes up with amnesia and everyone's just filming her, and it's this hellscape of no privacy. Everyone's just following her, filming. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if by the rules posed by the games in this movie, where, you know, the fun of the Running Man is not just watching, is you are part of the action.
Yeah.
And we all know that nowadays, any you know, considerably intimate event can be filmed by someone, a bystander, and blown up on the biggest global stage.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be cool if you took that idea and, you know, warped it into something dark and, well, it's already pretty dark, but but game show, sci-fi, dystopian, and they never do anything with it. There's one or two people who dob them in, but everyone else is super helpful.
Yeah. James, dear old William H. Macy. Waste of time, little cameo. Even Michael Cera. I mean, Michael
he
Cera
was
is
fun.
really
He
good.
was really fun.
But it's not a... I mean, I guess it was a fun role. Yeah, he did. He really wanted that
Home Alone.
retribution, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was quite fun.
Home Alone moment. I mean, it's so clear who's going to die, though.
Yeah.
I was like, well, he's not going to stay in the film very long because he's too sort of cavalier and... Cavalier?
Yeah,
Cavalier.
Cavalier.
Cavalier. Well, let's make
But
it
also
weird.
the four, like, they're not stalkers, they're just hitmen. who are running
Apart from
after him.
I guess Lee Pace has more of a, stalker-esque thing. But I thought the mask reveal was so stupid.
Yes, but they had to, because otherwise you've got Lee Pace in your film and you haven't
Yeah.
seen his face the whole time, and what's the point?
Seriously, Sarah, what are they doing? He's a beautiful man. Why do you put him in a mask?
Because he had
why?
scars on. Because they made him have scars on
No,
his
but
face.
then why cast Lee Pace?
I
Who's
have
like Lee Pace?
Absolutely no idea. Do you know what? Can I
yeah.
just say, trivia, I recognise, because Animal Kingdom, the movie from 2010, the Australian crime drama,
Great film.
Yeah.
is one of my favourite films of all time.
Yes. Mhm.
James Freshville was one of those 4 hoodlums who was in Running Man 2.
Who was he in Animal Kingdom?
He's the kid.
Oh,
He's
okay.
Cody, the kid, who that was his first acting role.
yeah.
And so he's.
It's funny you say that because, of course, Jackie Weaver is wonderful. I think she got nominated for an Academy Award.
She
for that
did.
film.
She did.
Rightfully so, and she's in Picnic at Hanging Rock, which I watched last night for the
yeah,
first
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Nice.
Animal Kingdom would be fun to revisit.
Yes.
I have not seen that since 2010, and it was one of my top films.
It is mine.
The decade.
I'll find us This is an offline chat, guys, but this is giving you a hint of what might be to come. I'll find us a connection.
A connection to
with
Animal
something
Kingdom.
with next year. Can I just say, I didn't know this, but the 1987 film, as we know, he becomes a corrupt cop, right? Which is a very 80s, 90s thing to do. They're not just going to have some working man with a sick kid, right? So they frame him to be a corrupt cop, because he wasn't corrupt, he was framed. Anyway, did you know that the movie was successfully sued for plagiarism by the makers of a 1983 French film called Le Prix de Danger, which means the price of danger, which was based on a 1950s French sci-fi novel. And that similarity is him being, I believe, is it might be the corrupt cop bit, I'm not entirely sure, or something to do with the civilian massacre anyway. So that's right. But then Le Prix de Danger, that's how I speak French. Le Prix de Danger, un cappuccino s'il vous plaît. That's how I speak when I'm in France. Anyway, Le Prix de Danger sued Running Man 1987.
Wow.
Oui, madame. Tout de suite.
I really enjoyed the opening sequence of that film with them in the kind of work prison.
Yeah.
And they've got those neck bands on, which is
Yeah.
very Battle Royale.
Battle Royale.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Very Battle Royale.
Yeah.
And how fun to see that guy running away and his head exploding.
How did they do that, by the way?
Yeah.
It's
a mo-
incredible.
Yeah, they'll stop, and it's a model, and then it's just his...
Did the guy just like duck his head down real quick? Because he's still running. He's still running before he falls. It's like, holy moly, that was really
They could
impressive special
composite
effects.
they could composite that shot together, couldn't
Okay.
they?
Even in the 1987s.
Okay.
I love that though. That's good movie magic, right? And you don't know how
yeah.
things are done.
I
Yeah.
also really like in the first Running Man how it's just you are thrown into the action. Arnold is punching goons like 30 seconds
Yeah.
into the movie. Whereas, I guess the new Running Man takes its sweet time.
Yeah, but he's angry from the beginning.
Well-
I didn't like him being such an angry man. It's so
I
boring.
didn't quite understand it because wasn't he trying to do this for his daughter?
Yes, but he has anger management
Why would he be
issues.
so angry in the audition process if, he's trying to make money for his daughter?
Because he didn't want to go on Running Man. He wanted to go on the other shows.
But this is before he went on Running Man. It was when he was in the queue and stuff.
Do you know what? I think that's called characterization, William. And
okay,
therefore
okay.
we go, oh, gee, he must have a short fuse. Maybe he's great. Rather than he's built like a brick. Am I allowed to say house?
Built like a brick house.
Yeah, like a brick house, Arnold Schwarzenegger cop. In which
Yeah.
case we know he's going to be able to handle himself.
I think that's a Stephen Kingism, right? He has it's a classic Stephen King style character with a very strong emotional drive.
The
Right.
lead protagonist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that screamed to me of many other Stephen King characters. Not necessarily angry characters, but definitely characters with some sort of corner that they are
Yes.
emotionally holding.
Yes, sure.
Because I was thinking, again, I know I said movie doctoring before in the flashback, but like, wouldn't it be cool to really set up Lee Pace as your villain?
Yes.
By having the movie start, cold open, and it's the first episode, the first season finale of The Running Man. You see Lee Pace be chased,
Yes.
and he's killed, and then when he takes his mask off, it's like, oh my god, it's Lee Pace.
Oh, yes.
And all of that is set up, but not really. I don't know. And then he's kind of like the shadow archetype. I don't know.
No.
It just felt like the movie took its sweet time to get to the actual Running Man.
And there was a lot of killing, actually, off camera, I think, wasn't there?
yeah.
William H. Macy, am I right?
Well, he gets tortured.
Oh, yeah, true. I suppose that's the thing. But yeah, no, it felt like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, can I just say, old Running Man, clever things. Hi, I'm your court-appointed theatrical agent.
Yeah, it's fun.
Instead of court-appointed lawyer.
Right.
When that sleazy guy who's in all of 80s and 90s dramas comes in and says to Arnold, I'm so-and-so, I'm your court-appointed theatrical agent.
Yeah.
And I feel as though that original Running Man film really knew what it was doing. The game show is genius. It is The Price is Right. It is that conveyor belt of gifts while you are deciding the fate of this real human being. And the fact that they use little old ladies, and that Killian is so suave and smooth and trustable and all that, is clever, clever, clever.
I loved as well the sense of heartbreak that was descending upon the crowd when one of the stalkers got killed.
Yes.
And just that sense of irony of, nobody cares about these running men and women. But yeah, you kill Sub-Zero and they're all
Yeah.
gutted.
Exactly. And
He's
it's
now,
like...
Jeremy, he's now Plane Zero.
Plain zero. But it's like the guillotine in France. It's like the French Revolution, well, before the French Revolution, but it's like that whole kind of, we all gather around and you tell us this guy's bad and all we know is that he stole a loaf of bread or some potatoes or did whatever, or you tell us he committed treason and we're all like, yeah, boo, yeah. And
Well, it happens today still, though. I think a lot of the there's been a lot of conversation about cancel culture, and one side of the argument is that it's calling people to account.
Yeah.
And the other side is that people love to pile on. Right?
yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
always
to pillory,
struck,
isn't
I'm always
it?
struck by the again, to use the word irony again, I'm always struck with the irony when somebody might say something that people disagree with, and then some of the responses are, you should go kill yourself.
I
and
know.
I'm like, wait. You're disagreeing with them saying this thing, and you've just told them to kill themselves. Like, there is a complete lack of
I totally
critical
hear you.
awareness of
I totally
what
hear
you're
you.
calling out. And so it's just that joy of attacking somebody, I think, is where that can kind of tip into a
and
different
also,
direction.
there's this reasonably famous book that once said, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. So for me, I agree with you.
Lord of the Rings, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Lord of someone.
Yeah.
And the irony is, how dare you, A, have a go at this person unless you are absolutely blameless of all things, and moreover, how dare you wish horrific things on this person when you're saying... Well, this is not the time for a death penalty conversation, but that's what I always thought was so sort of ironic. The state is saying you shouldn't kill people, so we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it is not the time, because that's what the satire is about, right? In terms of where autocracy can sort of head, and it does feel really pertinent with what we're discussing in the world. And I just think that the new one was so earnest that it took away from some of that. And like you said, William, in the audio recording from before, having its cake and eating it too, it sort of was trying to do two different things. And
that's a good point. And maybe
fun
it
was
felt
lost.
that it would alienate people if it did get too political.
Well, I think it's that, like I said in that audio recording, the movie says, let's just be entertainment. And I think in trying to maybe do that, Sarah, it kind of became its own warning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas
True.
the old one, which was just having fun, way more that's quite biting. Like, honestly, when they were like grieving Sub-Zero and Buzzsaw, I was like, this is quite impressive.
Yeah.
The way that we vilify and celebrate.
Yeah.
Like, who do we celebrate?
Yeah.
Who do we hold up in the media as being worthy of our grief, and who gets ignored?
Yeah. Did you notice there's a
still
poster
relevant.
in the old film? There's a poster in the hallway of other shows that the studio does,
The
and it
hate
says
vote?
the hate vote.
It's so cool.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Those little things,
Hey,
we didn't get that.
I thought of some other connections. So obviously the Hunger Games is the big one.
Yes.
Squid Games as well stood out really strongly to me. But a more obscure one is the film Shock Treatment.
Oh, the sequel to Rocky Horror?
The sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Good
which
Lord.
is infamously terrible, but I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for it because...
Because you like infamously.
Well, and I
terrible.
watched it at the same time, and so my kind of rose-tinted glasses around Rocky Horror were not yet formed.
Oh.
But Shock Treatment is the characters of the first film having marital problems, and they end up going into a reality TV world that seeks to better people's lives, and it's all about the 80s obsession with television, and people are addicted to television, the way that television is presented as the solve to our problems. It's very what's the word? Like an oracle of reality TV to come in a way that now I watch it and I go, oh, this was really hitting on something.
Yeah.
But the audiences back then just did not, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And so I felt really connected to this film. I think it might have even came out the same year. I feel like 87. Potentially Shock Treatment.
Well, while you're looking for it, do you know what else came out this year? RoboCop.
Right.
Which is like...
Oh, you mean 87?
Yeah.
Came out in 87.
It's doing so much of the same stuff.
Yeah.
I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah,
all the fake shows and adverts they have, like... Something was happening in the late 80s where people were realizing...
I think consumerism and capitalism was really
was
taking
peaking,
off.
right?
Yeah.
And there was a real conservativeness as well. So there was they needed to find ways to unpack. Shock Treatment was 81, so it was
okay.
quite
way
a bit
early.
before.
Okay, very
Okay.
prescient.
Yeah.
Of course, we haven't mentioned, but everybody noticed Governor Arnold's face on the new dollars.
that
on
was
the
very
billion
cute.
new dollars.
I actually
or
didn't
whatever.
notice until William started cracking up next to me. And then I, okay, that's right.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice Easter egg or nod or something.
Speaking of future governors, we must not forget Governor of Minnesota, Jesse the Body Ventura.
Oh, yes, that's right.
As Captain Freedom. Oh my god.
He was great.
role.
He was great, and the fact that he comes out in the metal with
And
the
the dumb
spoons
armor.
or whatever, and he's like, "I'm not wearing it."
Yeah.
Yeah, super
And
cute.
he's built up throughout the entire movie to be like the ultimate badass.
Yeah.
And he's just a corporate shrew,
Yeah.
Like he's lost the edge. He's been the spokesperson for a brand that he doesn't believe in anymore.
And does he walk away at the end?
He does. He does.
Yeah, which is a fun bit. That first film was tidy as. It was a great
Although
time.
I must say the ending to the first film is so goofy. I mean the rest of it is goofy as
You
well.
mean that he gives her a yucky smoochy
Well,
kiss
that
and
where
walks
it's like,
off?
oh, they're in love.
How? How are they in love? I saw no romance through that whole thing. He mistreats her the whole time. Anyways.
Can I just say
very
also,
80s.
it's so 80s, it's
Yeah.
so late 80s and 90s as well to cast a whole lot of musicians in
Oh
your
my
film.
God.
So
As
we've
the
got
revolution.
we've got Mick Fleetwood, who's blooming good actually, Dweezil Zappa, and as I put here, Jesse Ventura, which is a very thing because I remember when Point Break came out, which is what 1990 or 91, and it's got. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Anthony Kiedis in it, or I feel like Flea turns up in things.
Flea turns up in what's he famously in?
He's in Obi-Wan, the Star
no,
Wars
I think
show.
it's from the 90s. Is it Fifth Element or one of those sort of films?
Something like that, and
he turns up.
And then Henry Rollins turns up in Heat in 1995. So those were the good old days where you just throw people in who were perfectly
we
good.
still do that. I mean, Rihanna's turned up in a few things.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of musicians pop up in
suppose.
films.
Taylor Swift and Cats.
Yeah, or in
No, but that was singing. That was different because she was actually
in
doing
that one where she gets killed at the start. What's the one? What's the film?
Spoiler.
Sorry, it's like a period piece. She's like a
Valentine's
terrified...
Day? No.
No, it's like a is it Nightmare Alley or one of those sort of ones?
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
But
she
anyway.
turns up in something.
Oh, those musicians. Zappa is the little like revolutionary kid.
Yeah.
They-
He's
they
not
ju-
in it much, but
They
yeah.
look like they're children playing with guns.
Yeah.
And Arnold's there like big boy leader. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And does the movie expect us, the audience, to take it seriously when it comes to, looking around corners like, go, go, go?
Yeah.
But that's all. But I guess that's all we knew. So
Yeah.
yes, it does. It's like we
man.
can totally get away with this,
Amsterdam's the film I'm thinking of.
Oh,
Amsterdam.
Okay. Oh, that film.
What's his face? Who's the guy who makes those movies?
Chazelle.
No. Oh no. That's
Babylon.
That's Babylon.
Amsterdam.
David Russell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so final thoughts.
Well, I was disappointed, and I've totally gone off Glenn Powell.
Oh.
Now, and I think partly the characterization, partly because he was given a role where he just had to be an angry guy. It was so one note. It was really boring, and it didn't work for me at all. So yeah, I've gone off him as an actor. He's not, like I said before, it was like, okay, I'll put up with him. Oh, Hitman, he has range. This is clever. And now I'm back to, no, maybe he doesn't.
I didn't mind him because I thought this is the way he's been directed, and he fully committed to being over the top, extroverted, overacting. Everything was overacted in this film, which I'm like, that's not an actor's choice. That's a director's choice.
But it wasn't overacted in a Coleman Domingo fun way. It was just overacted in a boring,
In a not very good way.
yeah, in a not very good way. Like I'm just playing an angry dude.
It's hard to know if that's direction or acting.
Sure, but unfortunately, fine. And I'm really disappointed in Edgar, and I don't understand why it didn't have whip pans. I mean, it had needle drops, yes, but I don't understand why we didn't have whip pans and cross-cutting
And where was Simon Pegg and Nick
match
Frost?
cuts, exactly, and all the good stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, you bring up Hitman, Sarah, and I was wondering, does Glenn Powell choose his roles by the amount of wigs he gets to wear?
Explosion at the wig factory.
He likes his, his makeup. I'm right there with you. I found Running Man 2025 just as an Edgar Wright fan to be really, really disappointing. Expected more, but I mean, what can you do? Maybe he is trying something new, and maybe it's just not working out. Because I know he was really excited about making this one. The original I find it's not really one of my favorite Arnold movies. I love Commando
and Total Recall. I love Total Recall.
And
the
like
Terminators.
Predator, like those are all peak
And
Arnold.
the Terminators.
And
Terminator 2 is one of the
Terminator
greatest
2.
films ever made.
This one is very slight, but it's just he is in total goofball mode. Like, we brought up some of the one-liners, but he has a one-liner for every situation in life.
He literally says, "I'll be back" in this one.
He
Yes,
does.
he does.
Only in reruns.
Yeah.
Every single time one of the stalkers are killed, he's already thought about the one-liner. Which, again, with Edgar Wright, it reminds me of that scene from Hot Fuzz where Nick Frost,
Oh, yes, he does!
So, did you say, like, cool off when you threw him into the chiller?
Yeah, that's right.
No, but I
forgot
said,
that.
playtime's over when I hit him on the head with a piece of lily.
I forgot that. That's very good.
And so the original Running Man is very goofy, and it's a product of this time, but it goes down so smoothly. And you say, Jeremy, that it's entertaining, and that's what it set out to do. It's set to entertain you and to have fun and to be in, out, done. Whereas the new one, I think, wants to do something more, and unfortunately, it just fails in doing so. Like it's not very deep. You said it's very, very earnest, which I agree with, but not to any great effect.
I love Edgar Wright's Hot Fuzz. You mentioned Hot Fuzz.
Same. It's my favourite.
Love Shaun of the Dead and love Spaced. But I think the rest of his catalogue has... Oh, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I love that one. But, the World's End was meh. I found Baby Driver was good, but of course, there's a Kevin Spacey in the middle of that film. And I really enjoyed it.
But, as you would say, sorry to interrupt, not really sorry, not sorry. No, but as you would say, as a film, nothing to do with Kevin Spacey's predilections, it's a good film, Baby
It is a good
Driver.
film, but I don't really remember it. We did an episode on it, and I don't... It's probably the one I have the least memories of out of all of his films I've seen.
Fair enough.
And then Last Night in Soho, which I watched recently for the first time, I really enjoyed, but it was fine. So I went into the Running Man with not the biggest of expectations, and I was happily, like I said, happily surprised for most of the movie until it all sort of fell apart. The old one, I had a really good time, and like you said, William, Commando is brilliant. I've watched it a lot because I've studied it with two different classes, and it's of that era. It really reminded me as well of The Sixth Day, which is one of the last
heck yeah!
one of the last big.
I saw that
Arnold
movie
films.
at the cinema.
Yeah, it was one of the few Arnold films I actually saw at the cinema because I was old enough to go see them. So
When I told you to screw yourself, I didn't mean it literally.
yeah. And I just remember that movie being a whole lot of fun as a young teenager, and so I could kind of go back to that when I was watching The Running Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, it's fun to kind of get these films. And I guess the other thing I love about the old one is that it's just that thing of, it feels like real people have made a real movie, whereas just so much of the content, including the new one, everything's sort of plastic and overproduced and everything looks perfect. And it's like, oh, give me a bit of smoke and rust any day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Cinema in Context. If you enjoy our podcast, then please share it with your film-loving friends. You can listen to Cinema in Context on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and where all great podcasts can be found. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, which are great places to let us know what you think of this episode, as well as give us suggestions for future films to discuss and compare. Look out for our next episode in a month's time, and until then,
Noho ora mai.